alone. I am one of a kind, and I need another one of my kind to build some kind of life with. And it's a very reasonable request
Very.
when I was reading it to me.
Yeah.
And Victor Frankenstein, whether it be from his perceived guilt over building such a thing, and also his animosity towards it for killing his fiance and harming his family, he initially agrees to do it, and then has second thoughts and destroys the bride before she even wakes up. And that's what kind of sets the monster off into pursuing Frankenstein across the globe, or to start a swath of destruction or whatever.
Yeah. Now in the movie, he does finish the bride, but the bride sees what she's become and doesn't want to live that way. So,
Yeah, does she tear her own head off or something?
something like that. Something like that. But a really good movie. So I would definitely recommend that. I would recommend Bram Stoker's Dracula. Heck, if you want some, I recommend Young Frankenstein. I think Young
Oh
Frankenstein
yeah,
is
yeah.
also.
There's some comedies that go along with this. One of the things I've been watching that I find very Halloweeny, every night on my TV, The Munsters. I love The Munsters. I watch The Munsters all the time, and it's has that atmosphere of Halloween to it because they're always in the spooky old house. And I've noticed one thing: the makeups on The Munsters back in the day, those were some top-notch monster makeups
Oh
for
yeah.
a TV series back in the day. Just brilliant looking stuff.
Kolchak, The Night Stalker. If you can find it, I think
Oh,
it's,
definitely,
Chief says it's on MeTV, or you can pick up the series. Um,
definitely, good stuff.
That not the remake that was called The Night Stalker. Don't look at that. Go look
No,
at
that's
the
garbage.
original Darren McGavin. It's like 20 episodes, but every major horror creature is in there. You get
Yeah,
zombies, you get vampires, werewolves, Jack the Ripper, Headless Horseman. It's all in there.
aliens even.
Aliens. Yeah, I just watched that one when they were sucking the bone marrow out of
That's
things.
the creepiest one, I think, because there's no.
They never show it. They never
Yeah,
actually show
Kolchak
the
is
alien.
just fearful and scared at the end of that one, and that's that's
Yeah.
unlike any of the other episodes. Kolchak is at a loss. There's nothing he can do about that
Yeah.
one.
So definitely that one. Go. I got this whole series on DVD. It is fantastic. You can pick it up for like $20. It is
Yeah,
fantastic. I mean,
pretty cheap, but worth it. Good stuff. Good '70s television.
oh yeah. I mean, it's got that it's in old format. It's got the film grain, but it is fantastic.
And set in my neck of the woods, set in Chicago.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Kolchak was in Chicago, especially in the zombie one where he runs afoul of the gangs.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of cool like shots of Chicago in that, and like
Yeah.
stuff that's pertinent. Like to talk about the Cubs a lot and stuff that's pertinent to Chicago. That's a real good one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So those few recommendations are ones I would honestly say go and pick up. Of course, The Witch. We'll always recommend The Witch.
For your classy, really want to scare the shit out of
Yep.
yourself, go get The Witch.
And then I would also a newer one. I would recommend Split. I think Split's a great psychological movie.
That one's good. I think of that one in a weird way. I think of that one as like a horror superhero comic in a way,
Yeah.
just because it's connected to Unbreakable and
And
that sequel's coming.
And you know what? The last one I'll put out there now. Of course, it's Christmas in the movie, but Batman Returns.
Krampus, another spooky
Krampus.
Christmas type.
That's a good one.
Would Christmas horror movies count around Halloween?
I don't know. I guess so. I will put them on both. I say Batman Returns because I remember going to see Batman Returns when I was a kid when it came out. Tim Burton, I mean, that was dark Batman. Batman Returns was darker than the first one. I mean, the very beginning when the Penguin's parents put him in the sewer, and the whole opening scene is this baby's this baby carriage floating down the dark, dingy sewers of Gotham. And then seeing the imagery of that whole movie is about acceptance. Once again, acceptance of family, and because you have the Penguin who was shunned by his family, you have Max Schreck, who the great Christopher Walken, and his son in the movie, of course, Bruce dealing with still dealing with the loss of his parents. But great acting all around in that one. It's dark, it's gritty. Definitely, if you're looking for a superhero movie, Batman Returns is probably the one I recommend for a Halloween time.
Edward Scissorhands, is that
Good
a
movie, yes, a great movie.
Halloween type? It's kind of got the spooky old castle of Vincent Price in the beginning. He's kind of a
Anything
weird
Vincent
monster
Price.
kind of creature.
anything Vincent Price. The Fly, House of
Last Man on
Hill.
Earth for sure. You want to see a movie made in the early 60s, 64, I think. Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price is not only the best version of I Am Legend, way better than the Will Smith, almost note for note from the novel, Richard Matheson novel. But Last Man on Earth, and it's still legitimately spooky and scary to this day. You can watch it on a dark, stormy night, and it's still creepy.
Now, normally this is where we would do our DC Comics reviews at the end of the show, but there was a problem this week.
I can review a couple. I read a couple of them.
We can review a couple of them, so let's hit that spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The Renegades are about to spoil this week's DC Comics.
Let's talk. The one I was able to read, there was an issue with how we got the books. It's all being resolved. But I was able to read The Dark Knights, The Drowned.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Not
what I expected at all. No. Was it what you expected? Not what I expected.
It's different. I mean, it's so this is the one we've been talking about that's been coming. That the Dark Knights with metal, the Aquaman is female, and it was kind of like, well, what's going on here? We were thinking maybe Bruce merged with Mara, but we find out that the world that this one comes from, the genders were reversed. So it was not Bruce Wayne, it was Bryce Wayne. You had Aqua Woman.
And Sylvester Kyle, I think, it was like the Cat Man in that world or something.
Yeah, something like that. And so it's actually, you don't get too much of what the old that universe was. You realize that there was the Bryce Wayne, the Batwoman of that universe, had basically killed all the metahumans.
Yeah, well, it's some impending. Her universe is falling apart, and she knows it, and she goes through some, whether it be a psychosis of hers, like she's just a little one step crazier than Bruce Wayne, but she feels there's some impending thing that she has to save the world from, and starts mixing her DNA with fish and does all kinds of weird shit and turns herself into an Atlantean.
Yeah, the Atlanteans has shown up. She mentions that she had killed all the metahumans. And then the Atlanteans showed up and basically flooded the world. So she spliced herself with the Atlantean DNA and other DNAs to be able to breathe underwater, control water. And she, in that universe, created the Dead Water, which are creatures that have been prominent in the Aquaman comics as of late, in the New 50, at the end of the New 52, and then a little bit into the Rebirth of just these dark, evil creatures. And she ends up killing Aqua Woman and taking over her world. But of course, her world's dying, and the Joker who laughs, or the Batman who laughs, shows up. And now she's in Amnesty Bay in the Prime universe, fighting Aquaman. And she converts. She actually, by touching Mara becomes Dark Water, a Dark Water creature.
Yeah, kind of like an undead kind of slave to her control. But did you think it was like an ambiguous thing where she says? She says, like, the Atlanteans initially came in peace, but I didn't believe him. So the Atlanteans come in peace, and she provoked the Atlanteans into a war because she didn't believe that, or were the Atlanteans really being shady and showed up and then really planned to flood the world? Because she makes sure to mention when the Atlanteans first came, they said they came in peace, but I didn't buy that, or something like that. So it kind of leads you to believe that everything would have been all right had she not went and provoked the Atlanteans into a war.
Yeah, and I can't pull it up either because, yeah,
we're waiting for that to come back online. But
I mean, it may have been different than the last couple ones, but still really, really good as far as the metal tie-in goes.
I gotta give them credit because they're throwing me off. I mean, I would have thought it would have almost been disappointing had it just been a merger with Mira, and that's what it was. This was far more interesting than what I had thought of.
Yeah, and it ties right into Metal number 3, where she's about to kill Aquaman, and then Dr. Fate intervenes and takes Aquaman away.
Yeah, it's happened so far, and all of the when they go up against their equivalent in the Justice League, Dr. Fate shows up and takes them away. So far, it's happened in all of the tie-ins, and it makes me think that maybe the Batman Who Laughs isn't what we think it is. Like we thought this was a Mira merger. I thought that I wasn't sure how the Dawnbreaker was going to happen, they're keeping me on my toes, and it's making me really curious about the Batman Who Laughs one shot. I cannot wait for that one.
Yeah, that's one I cannot wait for. That's all I was able to check out before the issues happened. But Chief, you were able to read a couple others.
Yeah, well, the only one I got to read, I wanted to read Conan Wonder Woman, but I didn't get a chance to do that. There was some kind of mix-up. We're getting it straightened out. DC has assured us we're not revoked. So we're doing good. But I did get to read Batman 33. And Batman 33 is basically, it's after the War of Jokes and Riddles. This is, it's basically a setup for 34. And what it is it's Catwoman and Batman in the desert garb from BVS. Basically, they're in like the Kayendar desert or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That is the Justice League has said is off limits to any metahumans are not supposed to go.
Kandahar?
Nobody from the league. Is it Kandahar? Is it?
Might have been.
It's spelled. It's not like the real Kandahar or wherever,
okay.
but it's like
it's not
Kandahar or something. It's
not by
simple.
Black Adam's world. It's not by Black Adam's kingdom.
It's where the tiger, whatever the tiger's guy that Nightwing was partnered up with.
Okay.
And
yeah.
it's where basically where Talia al Ghul is in exile. Okay. And so basically, I don't know what the purpose is, but Batman is taking Catwoman to meet Talia al Ghul.
To ask Talia for her blessing to adopt Damian once they get married.
Something like that, or to tell her, finally, this is the woman I care about, and you're no longer a part of this.
Yeah.
And I think it's basically set up for that. And 34 is the one I want, because that's going to be Selina Kyle meets Talia al Ghul. And the very last thing, Talia al Ghul, they show Talia al Ghul, and she's on a bed with all kinds of naked people behind her having a big orgy on a bed, and she sets up on this bed and says, "Prepare my swords, please," in anticipation of Batman getting there. So they tell her Batman is coming with a woman here right now. And so she gets up and says, "Prepare my swords." So this is going to be a Selina Kyle, Talia al Ghul throwdown in 34, and I can't wait. Hopefully it is. It might end up being more
and that's
friendly than that. But.
What I can't wait for is the Damian Catwoman interactions. I think
there's a little bit of his reaction to this because he refers to her as that woman. He won't call her by her name, and Damian actually cries in this about his father having to go do this or whatever because of that woman. And
so is he calling Talia that woman or Catwoman?
No, he's calling Catwoman that woman. The father is going to marry that woman, and he's bitter about it. And Damian actually starts crying over it, saying it's his fault, something, and he starts crying, and I think it's Jason Todd is there, and Duke, and I think no, it's not. It's Duke and Damian and Jason Todd are in the mansion, and Alfred comes in and informs them that Batman is getting married, and Damian starts crying, and Jason Todd's like, everybody better get the hell out of here. Bombs are going to start dropping or something. The kid is upset. Something bad's going to happen. He's going to kill us all. So, kind of funny that the older Robins are terrified of Damian. Damian doesn't seem like he's going to get in the way of it, but he also seems like he's not too happy because he refers to Catwoman as that woman.
Well, you got to think. Damian has no love for Talia anymore.
No.
That's his mother, but after...
Well, she tried to kill him. She did kill him.
Yeah.
She did kill him. Well, he's alive, but she did kill him.
She had her Damian clone. She had her Damian clone kill him.
Yeah.
The heretic. But it's also one of those things where Damian, he doesn't put it out there often, but he holds Bruce in such a high regard, his father in such high regard, that he wants to make sure. At this point he doesn't see Catwoman as
worthy.
Good enough and
she's
worthy.
Not worthy.
So once,
but he hasn't really met her though either. He hasn't really had any interaction with Catwoman that much.
Well, once she beats the shit out of Talia al Ghul, he'll probably be like, okay, cool, But
she will. I think.
And she will. I mean, we've seen it before. While Damian loves his dad and he holds his dad in high regard, he holds other people even higher than Bruce. He holds Dick Grayson in a higher regard than he does Bruce.
I think he has more love for Dick Grayson.